this is the first example for finding zeros. And so I'm given this equation, and I'm given just a little glimpse of part of the graph. This isn't the whole graph, but it does tell me that one of the zeros is 2. So I want to find all of the zeros. So I know that one of the zeros is 2, and I need to find the other 2. Fundamental theorem of algebra tells me there's going to be 3 total. So I can take that root and divide it into there. And when I'm doing that, what I'm really doing is I'm factoring out an x minus 2. I'm being left with something in terms of x squared. Notice if I go x cubed divided by x, I get x squared. So I'm going to factor that out and see what I have left. And then once I have this quadratic, I'm going to try to find its zeros, which would also be zeros of that. So I can do the synthetic division. Just pull out the coefficients for here. So I have 1x cubed, negative 6x squareds, 15 x's, and negative 14 ones. And then when we do synthetic division, the first term just comes down. The next step is multiply 2 times 1, gives me a 2. Then I add, negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. Then again I multiply, 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Then I add, 15 minus 8 is 7. Then I multiply, 2 times 7 is positive 14. Remainder 0. That should happen. If that's a 0 of it, if that's a root, that I will have a remainder of 0. This answer is the coefficients for this quadratic. So I have 1x squared minus 4x's plus 7. So I have 1x squared minus 4x's plus 7. So now what I need to do is try and solve this quadratic. And it looks like I won't be able to factor it. So I'm going to run it through the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula would be negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared. Notice b is negative 4, and I'm squaring it. Notice the way that I wrote it. When I square this, it'll be positive 16. All right, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, and that whole thing is over 2 times a. So now I'll do a little bit of arithmetic. Negative 4 is positive 4. Plus or minus. Negative 4 squared is positive 16. 4 times 7, 14, 28 is negative 28. And that's over 2. So I'll keep going from there. That's going to be 4 plus or minus. The whole thing's over 2. 16 minus 28. What's that? Negative 12. So let me break up that square root of negative 12. Square root of negative 12. 12 is 4 times 3 times negative 1. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 3 is square root of 3. Square root of negative 1 is I. So this is the same as 4 plus or minus 2 root 3i over 2. And notice, since I have that 2 in the denominator, it is dividing both of these. It's dividing both the 4, and it's also dividing the 2. So what I'm left with is 4 divided by 2, 2 plus or minus, and then 2 divided by 2 is 1, root 3i.